Hernandez and Mike Gaffney. Please enjoy the show.
Yo.
Hold on, man. That's fucking loud as fuck. Hello?
Hello?
Wow. Okay. Better.
It's loud?
No, well, it was on my end. I had the volume all the way up into my ear. And when a Skype thing rang, it rang in my ear. Dang, 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 dang. And it was loud as shit.
Well, I think that... Okay. That ain't good.
Now I'm good.
Nice.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing, man. How was your show with Pompton this weekend, bro? I remember you were struggling to
It was actually a
keep
good...
the show going.
Yeah, I mean, like... Yeah. I mean, I think going in, we had 12 or 13 sold, and then we wound up with 30, I think.
They were fun?
Oh, they were a fun 32. Real fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, they were really fun. And it was like two women who just saw me 3 weeks ago up at his other joint, Mount Arlington. They were there,
okay.
And then they came to this show.
Oh, nice. So
Yes.
that was the first time seeing you was in Mount Arlington, so they came again like a few weeks later?
I think they saw me at a fundraiser maybe once.
Oh, okay.
They came to Mount Arlington and then came here.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't click that that's who they were. And they sat right in front.
Oh, okay.
They brought a large group of women. It was like 8 women came with them, and they sat right in front. I recognized one of them, but I just didn't click that they were there 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And until like about 10 minutes into the set,
Okay.
I'm glad because it would have gotten my head. I would have been like, she's right in the front row. You know what I'm saying? How much is new? How much is different? Like, come on. I would have got...
You didn't read a new act in 2 weeks?
I would have got in my head.
Yeah.
It probably would have been off. But I wasn't off at all. I just went into it, and when I did realize it, I was like, wow, they just heard probably at least 8 of that 10 minutes they heard before.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, and they were dying. That whole middle table was dying. So I was like, what am I concerned? Just do your thing.
That paranoia of people seeing you again. That's why working at Uncle Vinny's so often keeps me writing.
Right.
Because whenever I see, because I'm there a lot. So I'll look up and be like, all right, I know we're going to get some of the same people. I'm coming with at least 2 new jokes.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off. Do you hear that clicking?
No, I don't hear any clicking on the recording, no.
Well, when you talk, it's a click, 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 click. And it's not registering?
It's got to be on your end.
Maybe it's fine, Mr. Hunt. Hello?
Yeah. Hey, is your mic set like to auto levels? Because when you stop talking, it like tries to pick up the room, and I hear your like when one of us isn't talking, I really hear the AC come through.
Oh, really? Every time you talk, I get and when I talk, nothing. No, like I'm looking at the mic, and it doesn't move at all when we're not talking.
Okay, so there's no settings on there that says like auto or something.
No.
We're not going to we won't deal with it now. I'll look at it.
Yeah, we're doing enough time.
Yeah, do it another time. We'll get us some new microphones and shit. So that's good, man. Yeah, like I said, seeing people that are saying gets you paranoid, but I think it keeps you writing because you're like, all right, I perform in the same state primarily.
Right.
Odds of people seeing me more than once.
Right.
It really keeps me like always like working.
Yep.
You know.
You don't think about it, but I'm always trying to add stuff to my act. So people who come and see me a million times, like this another family, him and his wife and his son came, they've said they see me 6 times already.
Wow.
And I'm like, really? And I think they saw me mostly at Bananas, maybe Paisano, but like they've seen me with opening, but this is the 6th time that they saw me.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I didn't recognize them.
Yeah.
And he was like, but they were like, oh, you always have stuff that's all new. It's like the potato chip guy is always like, you always have new stuff.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying always to be creative. I'm always mixing my setup. I'm always,
right.
You know what I mean? Especially if I'm in Pompton Plains on that stage, I'm like, what am I doing here?
Right.
I'm going to go through the same. You think I'm doing flip-flop?
Yeah.
Think I'm going to say Prolly on the fucking Pompton Plains thing?
Yeah, when you texted me to go out after I just got in my shorts and I was chilling on the couch watching TV with Carrie, I'm like, we just got in from dinner. Like,
yeah.
There may have been a shot if on our way home from dinner we got a text from somebody, you coming out? But we made it home already. We're like, fuck that.
I only asked you because I thought James said Joe's not coming. I thought like you already said you were. So that's why I said, hey, are you coming?
We thought about it, and then we were like, let's go out to dinner, and then whatever. We just...
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
We already ate and had dessert. Like, what are we going to the diner for? We already even had this. We just split apple crisp like a half hour before you texted.
Right.
Like, I'm not getting... I mean, I would still eat, but I shouldn't. That's... Then you get there, you see the chocolate cake and the little spinning thing, you're like, well, if you're going to be all sexy like that, I think I have to buy you. You know? Chocolate cake all shiny. Is there anything worse, though, than seeing like a chocolate cake that looks all shiny? And you're like, I want that. And then it's dry. You're like...
Shit. You're like, ah.
You feel like going like, go fuck yourself with it. You just want to throw it at them. Like, you didn't even make a slice out. How could it be this dry without a slice removed? I can see if a slice was removed, then that piece was dry, which you should have sliced it, then gave me the second slice.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you got to burn a slice.
Yeah.
If you're going to leave it open like that.
Edge. Because the one edge is dried out.
I do that at home. If I have like an open pie or like I'm like, I'm going to cut a sliver, burn that, and now I'm starting my fresh shit.
But are you going to finish it up? Are you going to finish the whole pie?
No, but whenever there's a spot to go, I keep...
So whenever you end off and leave it, someone else got to burn that little sliver.
You got to burn the sliver. I'm not saying you got to do a whole slice. We got to burn a sliver. You got to get that aired slice out.
Absolutely.
To me, that's proper etiquette.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in any books, but you should do that. You don't want to be giving somebody cold.
Unless you have your pie in one sitting, you're slivering a lot. Like a lot of slivers. You're probably giving up a slice.
Well, it's not like I sit home and eat pie a lot. It's rare that there's like a lot of cake in the house.
I don't know why. It seems like you do, though. Like, I mean, it's not a far stretch for us to believe you sit home and just eat pie.
Believe it or not a lot of sweets at home. I do most of my sweets out.
Right.
I don't keep them at home. Like, mainly for my sweets, I have this biscotti that's got a like toffee or chocolate on the bottom. They're like 100 calories each.
Right.
That's like my little thing at home because I know if I buy cake, like whenever like somebody comes over with cake for like a party, like I'm like, take it home with you.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna throw it away.
Yeah.
Because if it's in the cabinet, it's going down.
It's getting down. Yeah.
So that's how I keep myself to a manageable chub.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I probably would be able to be a little less chubby if I didn't every time on my way home stop and buy snacks on my way home every time.
Yeah, that's helped me. The preventing of snacking, to stop snacking is
at home.
At home, because when I'm at home, like today, I'm home. I run some errands in the morning, did my hike, but I would be eating right now. I have nothing else to do. I'd be trying to get caught up on Game of Thrones like I have been for days and just eating. But I'm I try to tell myself, no, you don't need fucking...
Right.
Problem is I have a wife that's very skinny and all she eats is fucking candy. And it fucks with me because I'm like, well, she can do it. She'll have like a salad and then she'll have like she gets these friendly sundaes that are like pre-mixed that are fucking awesome in this story. And I'm so jealous of her. She just slams sweets.
Right.
But she's weird though. She won't eat. Like she'll be like, "Oh, I had nothing to eat today." She'll like her first time eating will be at like 6 o'clock at night.
That's so funny because usually that's the way I am, and usually that results in us being even fatter because your body's like, "I'm not giving that up. This motherfucker don't eat."
Right.
And they hold on to a lot of unnecessary shit where you gain weight. But she's got a high metabolism. She's a thin person, period. Doesn't matter that she couldn't be fat, even if she wanted to.
No, and then even when she does eat, it's like a salad. So she's getting a little protein with her feta cheese, but then it's like, boom, friendly Sundays after that.
Yeah.
But her body has had no sugar. So it's probably like, we need something. Give it to us.
But you, on the other hand, want the 7 friendlies Sundays and maybe a piece of lettuce.
Right. See, I wake up sad, so I got to start eating immediately. And I got to push those feelings down with, even if it's a nice, like I do make myself healthy breakfast. I wake up, I have an egg white sandwich with sriracha sauce, like on whole wheat bread, which is nice, but I need that for emotional. I need it to even get going.
Right.
Or else I'll just be in depression. I get my coffee, I'm a little happier. Then the hike makes me happier, gets my blood flowing.
Right.
Then right about the time that coffee and the health hike
And the hike
starts
wear
falling
off,
around
for
noon, I want to blow my face off again. So then, but I still try and get a salad at Jose Tejas or something. I still try and keep going during the day, but food is definitely like prevents me from suicide. So that's why these
I'm glad I'm not a therapist, because that's a exhausting day. I would just be like, I don't know why you bother. Just stay in bed, bro. Just if your whole day is just getting to the next happy moment, like, just get me.
It's not that bad. I don't want to make it sound as bad as it sounds, but you're definitely like, this ain't hurting me.
If I could just get, it's like, to the next happy platform where I don't want to blow my brains out. That would be really nice.
I don't always want to blow my brains out. I guess that was too much to say, but it's definitely, I'm never like true contentment and happiness, or like moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm a very hard. That's why.
Explained it. Listen, Joe, I want to say your first run at this today is explaining it. I know you use some drastic words that you don't mean, but Will, as the listener, will take it down and tone it down. Like, he doesn't mean blow his brains out, but he definitely means
walk into traffic.
Smash his head into a brick wall. He definitely means that. Like,
yeah, but my point is,
food helps
I'll never be thin because food helps me survive.
Yeah.
more than just calorically.
Like nutrients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps me survive emotionally, because sometimes the sweets are like a healthy, like a good tasting healthy meal makes me feel good. Sometimes like that chocolate cake late night at the diner may make me feel good then, but I crash from it. It's almost like doing drugs. You're like, oh, and now you have a fucking cinder block in your gut, and you're like, you know, you are really a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, like chocolate cake or peanut butter cake or anything like that is really, it makes me happy inside my soul 2 or 3 bites.
Yeah.
After that, I begin to say, like, wow, Mike, you know you don't need this.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Now you feel like a fat piece of shit. You're going to go home. It's going to take you a minute to get your shoes off because you can't really get down there right now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's like that's why the biscottis are good.
Yeah,
they're 100, 110 calories. They're sweet, they're delicious. You dip them in the coffee. They're antidepressants. My fucking neighbors see me do front handsprings on my front lawn after. They're like, wow, Joe's feeling great. Like, where'd you get this energy? Biscotti.
I love how you talk like dipping stuff in coffee like we're 90 fucking years old. Like,
why, you don't dip?
I don't dip shit in my coffee. I'm not there yet.
Not a biscotti, though?
I got to tell you, I've never dipped one thing in my coffee. Ever, ever, ever.
Really?
Never.
It's good.
I'm not saying it's not. I just never even...
It's nice. Not every bite, but every once in a while you get a nice soft bite, a little hard bite, you back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like the S cookie? Like
Stella D'Oro breakfast treat, man.
You ever hear like Sebastian's joke about that? Like when his grandmother would pay, for school, pack him coffee. S cookies and coffee. He's like, Ma, he's in 3rd grade. It's like, here's some S cookies to go with your coffee. Coffee? I'm in 3rd grade. Like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, don't forget to dip the S cookie in the coffee. Like, you don't get coffee in the 3rd grade.
That's why that joke is so good. Because my grandma used to have Stella D'Oro breakfast treats. My Italian grandma I was eat them constantly.
Yeah, I used to
like coffee with her when I was a kid. So I'm a coffee addict. I've been pounding coffee since I'm a child.
Me too, but I never dipped anything. But I used to. My Stella D'Oro thing was the little chocolate, the little dab of chocolate with the little cookie. What were they called?
I know what you're talking about.
It looked like a little star with a little dab of chocolate in the middle.
Oh, what the fuck is the name of that? So, let me look up Stella D'Oro cookies. Tell us more stories about them.
Oh, right down the block at the liquor store. They sold like they 2 things. They had the breakfast treat and that awesome cookie.
Swiss fudge, bro.
Swiss what?
Swiss fudge.
Yeah, that's right. Not swish. Like
Swiss. Swiss fudge.
Swiss fudge. Oh yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that was good shit, man.
I think I'm going cookie shopping after this cast. I got to get some breakfast treats and some Swiss fudge.
They were so good, man.
They are, but it's like but I think like biscotti reminds me of my grandma. So like when I eat it, that's why I love it. It's like there's like certain things that bring back these memories. Like when I make my tomatoes, like not to sound like a fucking Long Island stand-up comic, but like when I make my tomato sauce, makes me think of my grandma. Like the smell. Like when I see Stella D'Or breakfast treats, I just
instantly think of your grandma.
I smell her. I could smell her. She smelled like Stella D'Or breakfast treats.
When I see like a cheap bottle of wine, I think of my grandfather.
Right. Yes. That's why I like hiking in the woods. It reminds me of my dad. The smell of the woods, the hunting, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because he used to do that. He used to go, I'm gonna go walk in the woods and smoke. And just look at shit.
He looked like, I remember you like look at your dad, like he reminded me of my grandfather. Like he would always, not my partner grandfather, like my actual biological grandfather. My grandfather would always go outside, smoke a cigarette, have a little beer, and just like watch him. Like it looks like he was always in his head thinking about something. Like like he was like in his own little world. Like sometimes your father would be outside like smoking or something outside of the house. I could just see him like he was always like in his own little like thought process.
That's what I had. That's what Kerry, like, I'll be in the backyard just sitting there just staring. Cody, and she's like, what are you thinking about? I'm like, shit, everything and nothing. Definitely got that. There's no coincidence that my name is Joe as well.
Yeah.
Normally you would name your first kid after you. You named him Mike, and then the second one was me, and it's amazing how much I'm like him.
Right.
Mentally and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's like
size-wise.
We're just short dudes.
Yeah.
Short
yeah,
dude.
Mikey's taller than you, right?
Yeah, he's a few inches taller.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's that.
So let's talk about the night of. If you're watching the show right now, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about the night of. If you're not caught up.
Yeah, then we don't even know how long we're talking about it for, so just fast forward so you don't hear nothing.
Right.
About it. I don't know what to tell you. If you haven't watched it yet, then you're not a real fan. How the fuck do you not watch it the night of?
Yeah. The fucking name of the show.
There was nothing going on last night.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you were watching the VMAs, because if you're not 14, you shouldn't be watching the VMAs.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Like, if I have an adult man, would you watch the VMAs? I'd be like, no. No. I'm 41 years old.
Tommy Nicky from the Comedy Works posted up today. He's like, last night, it was like, if every Super Bowl in February, someone took a pile of shit on the 50-yard line, the cameras zoomed in and focused on that for 3 hours and called that the Super Bowl, would we every year tune into that? He's like, but every year somebody takes a big shit on that VMA stage, and we watch it for 3 hours. Why?
Kids do, though. Like, Justin was watching it 'cause his rapper Future was in. This is his generation. Back when I was a teenager, 15, 16, 17, the VMAs had my people. Yeah, they've been around since the 80s, the VMAs. Okay. Madonna and shit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But fucking... So, like, we're not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
It's not geared to us.
Right.
That's like whenever... I think it makes people sound even older when they bitch about the stuff. It's oh, yeah, they don't know. It's like, it's not meant for you.
Yeah, no. That's the whole thing. That whole show, the commercial, everything there is not geared towards your old ass anyway, so don't worry about it.
No.
You're not supposed to get it. They don't want you to get it.
They don't want anybody after 25 looking at that.
Yeah, they don't want you looking at it.
Care.
Go somewhere else, man.
They don't care that you don't like it.
Go watch Murder, She Wrote. Leave us alone.
Like, people are posting, like, oh, here's some real music, the Ramones. Yeah, that's good, but the kids today don't want the Ramones. You may have a few little fucking punk kids in school that like it, but...
Speaking of music, we're going to get into the night of. Did you see that show, the Comedy Jam, on Comedy Central, like the Comedy Music Jam thing?
No.
Oh, looked like so much fun.
That's when the comics do the karaoke?
No, they don't do karaoke. They tell a story that kind of intertwines a song. They're one of their favorite songs.
Okay.
So they tell a story, the song's kind of in it, and then they sing the song with a live band.
Oh, no, yeah, I've heard about that. They did that. They do that at the New York Comedy Festival every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like Yeah, because I remember one year Eliza Schlesinger was on Opie and Anthony singing the song she was going to sing.
Oh, okay.
And
well, I tuned in. Jim Jeffries was telling a story.
Okay.
And Jim Jeffries always tells a great story, and he's talking about the guy from Oasis, the lead singer from Oasis, and Russell Brand. He was like with Russell Brand. And apparently, him and Russell Brand fucked the same girl, and it got a big controversial thing.
Okay.
You know, a while ago, like Russell fucked her, and then they exposed that he had also fucked her, and he got exposed because Russell got exposed. And they were talking about it in a bar, and then the guy from Oasis showed up and didn't know who Jim Jeffries was.
Gotcha.
And he was just doing all this, like, you know, how Russell talks, with Russell Brand talks, a lot of movement. He's like, oh, this is my friend, Jim Jeffries. And then he's like, and he did that. And then Jim Jeffries sang, what's that song? What is it? You're my
Wonderwall?
You're my Wonderwall. He sang that song. And it was really good, but it seemed so much fun. Pete Davidson was on with Coolio.
Uh-huh.
He did a story and then brought Coolio up. I mean, he started rapping Coolio, and then Coolio showed up, and he was like, Pete was like a 6-year-old kid, just jumping up and down on stage the whole time rapping, like, wow! Like, just, it looks so much fun. Like, and I don't like so many different ways to do stand-up comedy, but it wasn't stand-up. It was storytelling and singing. It would just look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll check it out on demand. That sounds pretty fun.
It was fun. It was just fun to watch.
I like different things with stand-up. I've been in contact with this one storytelling group. I'm going to try doing some stuff with them.
Jay Farrow was on it.
Yeah.
He did a story, and then what's her name was on it? Natasha Leggero.
Oh, okay.
She was on it now. She sang with Cheap Trick's guitarist, came out.
Okay.
She sang a song with him. And the first guy was Adam Devine, is it? Or
Adam Levine?
Levine, right?
What, a comedian?
The comedian, Adam
Devine?
Yeah. He was the first. I didn't see him. I came in on Jeffries. But it looked fun. Just looked like a fun show to watch.
Cool, man. So the night of. So you had plenty of time to stop listening. We warned you, did a little side thing, and then we came back. And if you didn't watch it the night of, you're not a true fan. Because I don't know anybody that was a fan of that show that wasn't watching it that night.
Oh, my God.
Okay. You give me your thoughts first.
Okay. Watching it, and it comes to that, 20 minutes to before it ends, and she says, no, we don't want to further prosecute anymore. And I'm like, right there, I knew, oh, he's done. He's free. And I understand why, because the detective showed her an actual possible suspect.
Right.
So, she was like, oh, I'm not going to pursue this anymore. I'm going to put all our energy basically into finding this guy. I got why it happened, but it just was so, to me, anticlimactic to end that way. And it's fine because there's no other way to end it, because it would have been cheeseball if you would have been the last minute, I did it. If it would have could have done all of that, you know what I'm saying? So it would have been cheesy, but just the way it kind of was and he's free.
Right.
What was really fucked up is the fact that he's hooked. That's not crack. He's smoking heroin.
Yeah.
He's hooked on smoking heroin.
Yep.
And now he's back hanging out up at Harlem smoking heroin. That's kind of fucked up. But it's almost like what happens to someone who goes through the system once.
Well, that's what
once.
Well, that's what I loved about it, because if they would have turned it into, okay, now we're going to go after this. If say they even added 2 more episodes,
right,
where they were going to now go after this suspect,
right,
it would have turned it into a Law and Order episode.
Mm-hmm.
When this show all along was this nice plotting thing to show the failings of the police system, of the judicial system, right, of the prison system, showing kind of leaking out slowly that though we thought Nazir was a good guy, he really was a bad guy.
Right.
He was a bad guy that beat the shit out of people in the past. He was a bad guy that sold drugs, and it showed how quickly in prison he just succumbs to being bad.
Yeah.
He's got that in him.
Right.
Accessory to a murder in prison.
Yeah, I know.
Just walks away like nothing happened. Yeah. Drug smuggling.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. It's okay, you're free, and this is probably how real life works. It's as simple as that, and then it's difficult to come out now. You're a mark. People look at you weird because you're famous. You're infamous, actually. You're not famous. You're infamous because of this crime. I just felt it was realistic, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I really enjoyed how it was a realistic ending,
Right.
They showed, all right, now he's a heroin addict. He's probably going to have more crime.
Right.
His life's now going to be he's a criminal now.
Yeah, he just came
He's
out
got a neck tattoo.
drugs on a corner. He's already a crime.
That's what I told Kerry when I saw him start smoking heroin weeks ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
I go, he's done.
Yeah.
He's done. You don't. It's like very hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
Especially if you start smoking it every day.
Yeah.
You know, in
and then
prison.
he had to take pills, and he was fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then getting a neck tattoo. Even like watching him sit at his like it was like him sitting with his family. He was like, "Nah, this isn't." Like he didn't act like he didn't overdo it. Like he'd be like, "I can't do this. I got to get outside." But he was just like, you could just tell he was like, "Nah, this is over for me, man." That prison stint, that whole situation, none of this life is normal to him anymore.
No, and his mother. That's why his mother didn't want to like. She kind of knew, like like they say, like a mother always knows.
Yeah.
Like a mother knows, and like she, even though like she knew, she felt he was capable of doing all those things.
Right. That's why she said, "Is my son that I raise a monster?"
Yeah, and then when at the end when she's like, when she said, "I believed you," he's like, "No, you didn't. You know you didn't."
Yeah. That was a deep moment too.
Because he really, well, we've seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it in prison. Like, beat that shit out of that guy. It's like, because at first you're like, when you're watching the series, you're like, wow, how is he turning so quickly?
Yeah.
But then as it unfolds, you're like, he's turning so quickly because that's who he is.
Yeah,
now, he may have not killed that girl.
Right.
But we don't, because we assumed we knew who he was because we saw a few shots of him smiling.
Yeah.
I don't have a car to go to the party.
Yeah.
So
I don't like girls that make me nervous.
We know 3 things about him. We're like, this guy's got to be a stand-up citizen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why 2 weeks ago when he was like when it came out on court, like when the guy was like, yeah, he sold me drugs, and like and the teacher was like, yeah, the second time he beat somebody up, like, and she was like, 2 times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we all start to reveal that, and I tweeted out to the show, and they favored it. I was like, looks like Nazir was a little thug way before we met him.
Right.
You know, he might have been a good kid, not like hardcore, like on the corner, but he was a good kid. But he was he was a shady dude,
like product of his environment. Though he's living in a time where being an Arab is, you're going to get a lot of racism against you and probably get fights picked to you because I remember that shit happened when I was young. When like a new kid would come to town, he'd have to like almost prove himself for like a certain group of people.
Right. Yep.
There was this dude Jose that moved from the Bronx to East Brunswick.
Right.
And he was he looked tough. He was like first like thug looking guy. Like he just looked hard but like, some of the tough white kids in school, like the girls loved Jose.
Right,
you know what I mean? I remember a dude challenged him in the bathroom and Jose broke his jaw.
Really?
And Jose fought many times and beat the shit out of him. But like he was actually a good dude. He just happened to know how to street fight.
And he had to stand up for himself because he was
had to stand up for himself. Yeah, but it made him look like worse a person than he is.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like he didn't. I never saw him looking for trouble.
Right.
But I saw him beat the shit out of people.
Right. Yeah.
Enough to be like, yo, Jose, anybody carry books there, buddy? Oh, Joe, I'm not a bully. I know, but if you was going to be a bully, I would carry books for him. Just saying, I'm putting it out there and just putting out my resume in case you decide you are going to start killing people. I'm a great book holder.
I'm a great sidekick book holder.
Oh, I'm like, what's up, Spike? What's up, Spike? What's up, Spike? I'm jumping off your back, going around the school. But that reminded me of that when I was watching it, but he was a bad guy. He didn't do that murder, but even at that point, Nasir doesn't. Even though he's let go, Nasir doesn't still know if he did it. Because he's still blacked out, and the jury doesn't know if he did it.
On the stand, he was like, first it was like, I would never do it in my heart, and then she went down through the things you are capable of that you say you wouldn't be capable of, like leaving a poor girl bleeding to death. Maybe you could have saved her. You walked away from her. You left her to die.
Yeah.
So maybe all these things you think you're not capable of, maybe you are. And then he came to, was like, so did you kill her? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you raised doubt in my mind. Maybe I did. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm capable of a lot of shit that I didn't think I was. Yeah, but I think that was the great part of this whole this series was like revealing that, like you said, we meet a little kid, we think he's innocent, little Arab kid, like smart college boy, strict parents. His brother gave you that feel, like his brother was very timid, and you're like, oh, he's got to be a timid family,
right?
And then you find out he's selling Adderall, buying illegal drugs, getting illegal scripts, and beating people up.
Yeah.
Although maybe self-defense, but he fucked people up just to make a point.
Yeah, but you take a regular person, say like James, our buddy James, nicest guy in the world, never can see him hurting a person.
Yeah, put him in prison.
You throw him in prison, he's not going to become accessory to murder and start smuggling drugs in and stuff.
No.
I just don't see that.
No, yeah.
He'd be like, I'm just going to hang over here, and if you beat me up every day, I'm just going to have to do what I got to do.
Right.
I couldn't see James getting neck tattoos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not who he is.
Right.
But, we still don't even, we assume it's that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I always never thought it was Nazir only because there was no blood on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
However, that's us assuming that the timeline is exactly the way it was. Him waking up downstairs and going back upstairs. We're not assuming that he killed her, washed up, went downstairs, laid his head on the table, and we picked it up from there.
Right, yeah.
That's assuming that.
That being said, one of the best series I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
And, I was talking with Kerry last night, because she liked the ending, too. She was like, it couldn't have been... Like, we both agreed we didn't want a hokey ending.
Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't want an ambiguous ending.
Right.
Where he's still on trial or something, and it's like...
right.
Or some crazy thing.
Or retrial, and we don't see anything else.
It's very hard to end a series. It's very hard to end a story properly. I remember, reading books. I used to read a lot of books in my 20s, and you're like, with this book, and it wraps up, you're like... You're almost so disappointed that it's over that any ending sucks.
Yeah, right.
It's very hard to end a show. You ever like feel like that? You never feel like you're like, it's my time.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's very hard to put a bow on things that pleases people, especially a story they've been following week to week to week.
Yeah, that's 8 weeks we were in.
And even if it was a bad, I remember I love the movie No Country for Old Men.
I didn't see it.
And a lot of people don't like it because it has one of those ambiguous endings.
Oh, okay.
But, my argument to them is, but you're telling me you enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. That movie's amazing.
Right.
You can't say that's not okay, the ending was ambiguous, made you have to think.
Right.
Didn't really wrap much up.
Yeah.
But, the movie, it doesn't take away how good it was.
Right,
You enjoyed yourself.
Yeah.
Where the opposite, I remember when I saw The Sixth Sense.
Right.
The Sixth Sense was all about the ending.
Yeah.
Because I remember being with my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck's up with this movie?
Yeah.
And then the ending goes, you're like, whoa,
right?
He's really dead.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it didn't have that, you would have been like, this movie stinks.
Yeah. It all hinged on the ending.
It all hinged on the ending. You're like,
yeah.
ugh, boo.
Right. Exactly. This show was great all the way through, every part of it. Right.
And I feel even if it had some shit ending, I would have been pleased with it. I enjoyed it up to that point.
Yeah.
And I was happy with this kind of fade out, slow ending.
Yeah.
Creep. I love that I saw that he went and got the cat back.
Yeah.
Love that. The John Turturro. Pretty interesting, though, his eczema thing, because he wasn't under stress because he wasn't really doing the case. The Indian girl was.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't that stuff that was working. It was his stress.
Level of stress.
No, I know people that have eczema, and it's a big to do with stress.
Oh, okay.
It's breaking out.
Right.
But what do you feel about her? Her character, I didn't buy how quickly she became I'm going to make out. Okay, the make out scene I could buy, but I didn't really buy how quickly she's going to smuggle heroin or pills in her chocha.
Yeah, I know. yeah.
That seemed
why?
That was the most unrealistic of the series for me.
The only reason I bought into it is because John, John Stone, Turturro, said to her, "Well, guess what? You just fucked him. You fucked him by putting him on trial." And when she went to him and said, "I'm going to put you on trial," he told her what she needed. He said, "This is what I need to get in front of these people." And she, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she was I think in her mind, she was like, "Well, I think he's right. I fucked him, but if I don't get him up there, you know, the way he needs to be up there to present himself, I'm really going to be fucked. I don't want to look bad. So let me help him be his best.
It turns out she was right. Putting him on the stand did help him.
Huh?
It turns out I believe she was right. Putting him on the stand did help him.
That's what hung the jury.
That's what hung the jury. Exactly. Yeah. John Turturro's closing arguments were amazing.
Amazing. I think that, to be honest with you, I think that's what hung the jury.
Well, because he did this. I remember watching Casey Anthony. I didn't watch the whole Casey Anthony trial, but I did watch the closing arguments on TV.
Right.
And those closing arguments are like amazing. These lawyers are geniuses. That's why I can never be on a jury. They're so because you see the prosecution go and you're like, she's fucked. She's going away. She's fucked. And then her guy goes on and starts saying, they have not proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. They had to prove it, and they didn't. Yeah. And you hear him, you're like, holy shit, she's going to get the fuck off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, you're just like, oh my God. And that, when he's saying, like, it reminded me of listening to the Casey Anthony trial. It's like, yeah, you do have all this evidence, but nothing points to. You know what I mean? Nothing pointed to him.
Yeah.
How he said, like, he's like, there was, I like that scene where he's like, there's seven crimes. Crimes that he definitely did.
Yes.
But there's one that nobody knows who did.
Yep.
It's all circumstantial evidence. Yep. It's just, I love courtroom shit. Courtroom movies, I just love that shit, man.
But I liked when she was giving her final arguments and she was pausing because she, like, I almost wanted to stop.
Having doubt.
In the middle of that and be like, you know what? There's new evidence. We want to stop. You could just tell. I thought that's how it was going to end. I thought that was how it was going to end, where she was going to be like, there's new evidence and that we're going to bring in, you know, put him in prison, but look for the other guy first.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show that people are too worried about their jobs and their reputations.
Yeah.
Because she's like going through it, even though she knows there's some other thing. The judge could have been a hung jury, but he wasn't going to have that on his record.
Exactly. Right.
A mistrial. When that video came to light of her making out with him, he's like worried about his reputation. It's like, yo, bro, it's like you just want to be like, you pieces of. This is why this system's broken. You guys are all worried about yourselves, your reputation, your future. It's like there's no justice, really.
No, that's why, like, you ever watch the first 48? They'll come in, they'll get the suspect, right? And they'll be like, listen, man, we just want your side of the story, you know, just to help you out. And it's like, I want to be like, listen, yeah, the guy's a murderer and he needs to go to prison, but you sneaky motherfucker, all you want to do is not have a trial because that costs taxpayers money. If you can save trial and get a confession, you get bonuses.
Right.
Because then that's what they want. They want just confessions.
Yep.
Why do you think they almost, in the beginning of the episode, in the series, they were going to plead him down to 12 years? They thought he stabbed this broad 22 times.
Yep.
And they were going to plead him down to 12 years.
Ugh.
Because they don't want to go to trial because they want to save money.
Unbelievable.
So it's not about the system. It's not about the victim. It's not about the murderer. It's not about any of that. It's about the money. It's always about the money.
You saw the way they were trying to manipulate the evidence. They had the doctor come in saying that he got that wound with the knife, and when God knows, he knows very well that didn't happen. It's like, just go up on the stand and lie. Then I love that other doctor that refuted it. Basically said the guy's a loser.
Yeah. But she was like, in the coroner, he's like, how did this wound, could it be from the knife slipping? He's like, well, it could be from this when he cut himself coming back in, but could it be from the knife? He's like, it could be from, what story works best for you?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, what do you think? I think it was from the knife. She's like, thank you. Like, what a fucking shady motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But, like, you look at it, like, you see that scene, and then, you know, you flash forward a couple of, you know, episodes later, and you see that she really is conflicted. Because the truth is, there are a lot of pressure from higher offices to get these cases going.
Right.
So all right, just help me out here. Say cut him on the knife, please. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this case moving along. So if I can present him with all this hard evidence, maybe he'll plea and we can get it out.
Right.
So we have so much against him.
Yep.
That's all they were doing. They try to line up all that evidence and go, look what we got. You cut your hand, we have a knife, you have blood on you, you were drunk, you were wasted, you were at the house, boom, this is what we have on you, Nazir. Are you guilty? They were just hoping he would say, yes, you got me.
Right.
Because a lot of people do. That's how a lot of people admit to committing murder that they didn't do. Because there's 9 people in the room going, dude, everyone knows it's you, man. There's cameras.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know it wasn't me, but, well, you're going to go to jail for life unless you want to take 10 years right now.
Yep.
That's frightening. When you're poor, you got no lawyer, right?
That's what fucked up. It's like you're going to get some shit lawyer that's going to make you plead if you don't have money for a good defense lawyer.
Yeah.
To fight for your life. If you're being charged with murder, they should give you, like, the greatest lawyer.
Yes.
You know, you're going to put this guy together forever. You're taking his life away.
Right.
And he's going to get some shit lawyer that's like doesn't want to put in the time, just like the boss of the Indian broad, who was like, well, she just bailed on it because of
because
he
didn't want to play.
Right. Hate that shit, but great series though.
Yes,
I applaud HBO. They just always knock it out of the park, man. They're just really good with shit. I mean, they have a couple duds here and there, but apparently this is I don't know if it was not a remake, but based off of there was a BBC series that they took this like a story like this from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it in the credits, so I was gonna go watch the credits again and look for that, see if it's on Netflix or some shit.
Right.
Whatever that series.
Yeah, I told Frank about it. Frank's like, he's like asked me what I was doing last night. I told him I was watching the show, and he's like, "Oh, really? What's the name of it? Maybe I'll start watching it. I'll go on demand." So he just texted me just now. He's like, "First episode, I'm hooked. Good shit."
I felt like that was the greatest premiere since like the Breaking Bad premiere. Like,
yeah,
like just amazing premiere. You're just like, holy shit!
Yeah.
I can't believe I can't binge watch this motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I've been binge watching Game of Thrones. I love that shit. I'm like season 2, episode 3. I've done it in like a week.
Right.
Love it. I thought I was gonna hate it because I hate that type of fantasy fucking shit.
Yeah,
But it's so good, dude.
Really?
But it's one of those shows you can't be like putzing on your phone while watching. You gotta like fucking focus, man. There's like so many characters and so much going on. You literally, if somebody asks me a question, it's like I don't know where they're at no more.
Right.
It's like it's very thick, but it. Carrie loves it. She talks in the accent from there, like my lord, and so she was like doing her hair, like doing the girls' accents. From Game of Thrones, and I'm in bed. I'm like, I fucking love that shit. You talk like Game of Thrones every day, like you're watching your wife get ready for work, and she's talking Game of Thrones, like I'm the queen, my lord. I'm like, oh, I fucking more that shit.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I hear good things about it. I just don't know if I'm gonna invest any time in it.
You'll like it.
I watched Roadies.
Yeah,
it just ended the series. This season ended.
I only watched the first episode.
Season ended. It's again. It's like a fun show to watch. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You're not hinged on the See, it's an hour show and it's just fun. It's not fucking, edge of your seat. Like I cannot wait for the next. A couple of episodes were hanging where you're like, what the fuck, and then it was, but it's never so dramatic. It's a little bit of drama, a little bit of love, a little bit of funny and music.
Right. It's good, man.
Joe?
Yeah. You there?
You froze.
Oh, you froze. You're
Did
there.
you record? Froze?
No, we're good on the recording. You froze for a minute. Now you're back.
Okay.
But it was on your end.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, or else my recording would have froze.
Oh, okay.
So that's TV Talk with Mike and Joe, bringing you some in-depth analysis on today's fascinating series.
That was a great show, man.
It was a great
show. I
show.
hate when shows end, man. It makes me sad.
Me too. Dude, the Gaffigan show, it ended, and me and Carrie watched the final one. We just found out that they're not coming back, and we were so upset.
Because they didn't end it like a final episode.
No, but the way that show is, like, each episode's its own thing.
Right.
It's not like really. It's not like a serialized where it carries over from episode to episode.
No, I know, but the characters didn't say goodbye in any way. It's like it's over.
No, yeah, it was a great last episode though.
Yeah.
It was like him with his kids on bed, like in a lightning storm, telling stories about some lightning storm when he was a kid in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
And his dad's name was Mike, so they called it the Mike Gaffigan Show. And they had
really?
it was, dude, that show was just on point, man.
Right.
So See, that's a good example of giving a really good comedian, him and his wife, because she's like one of his main writers, just giving them the reign to write a show.
Right.
They did it on TV Land, so they did their own thing, and you're like, yes, you put a guy that's that funny in charge of his show, it's going to be fucking great. And it was. It was literally every episode, and clean and so funny. Like, so disappointed that they decided not to do it. What are you going to do?
That's a good, I mean, like, that's how successful it was. They still were like, you know what? We're good. We're not going to do it anymore.
Well, he makes so much money touring. He tours arenas.
I know.
And so him and his wife were like, it takes too much time. That's why I don't think people if you haven't like ever made a movie or a TV show, people have no idea the time it takes to make even the simplest TV show. It takes so much time out of your life. Again. You there, Mike? Your face is frozen on my screen.
You're frozen. You're frozen on my end too.
Yeah. You're back.
You there? All right.
Yeah.
You're back too.
Now I was saying people don't realize how much effort it takes.
Right.
To make a show.
It's what the fuck did I wanted to talk about that thing that happened on my Instagram. I guess it happened a couple of weeks ago. I posted about it on my Facebook. I screenshotted it, but we never talked about it on the podcast.
What?
The kid that asked me for fucking advice.
Oh, yeah. Explain that story again?
All right, I'll tell you.
Oh, by the way, while you're finding that, did you get any good audio this week from your show? Like, it was off your act? Because people expressed how much they liked the addition of stand-up audio in the podcast. I put that 10 minutes from my show, and I've had a few people say they dug that. So I just figured if you ever had it.
Yeah, nothing that was like there was interaction. There was interaction. There was off the cuff stuff, but nothing like where I had to handle them. Just
Right. Well, yeah. It's not like we always have to put like fucked up crowds audio. Like if you ever had anything interesting, you know what I mean. I'm saying always throw me the file because people said they dig that. Just I don't want to do it like every week, but I figure I'd always ask you.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything from this week.
Gotcha.
But this kid on Instagram, his name is Adrian. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to give him his last name out. I don't know him. Friend, he started following me on Instagram, and then direct messaged me on Instagram, like a message, like a DM, not a picture, like a DM on Instagram. And he was like, "Yeah, man, my name is Adrian, blah blah blah. I was wondering how you got the gig at Brad Garrett's comedy club, and how do you even get gigs in general?" That was his first question. Now he sent that as I was driving my vehicle to the comedy club.
Okay. I
was in the car driving in Saratoga. So I see my phone vibrates. I have the map on. I have Waze on. So like I see a little thing come on, an Instagram thing. So as I'm driving, I just hit it and I see there's words, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know what that is right now. I can't really get to that question. That's a lot of answer.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to just give him like your email. I'm going to tell him. So I'm like, when I park, I'll answer this. I don't know who it is, but I'll answer him. 1 second later, was it through connections or something? Like how did I get to Brad Garrett? Was it through connections or something? That was like a second later. And then another second after that, come on, man, I need to get started. My father is going to get out of work soon, and my crap job isn't going to suffice by itself. I want to do something that I love. Right? And then a second later, I ain't asking for a gig. I just need advice. I'm like, dude. So I said, I'm driving, dude. When I stop, I was going to reply.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, you can read it, but you can't reply?
What?
And then he said, okay. And I was like, are you serious? And then I answered him back. I was, are you serious? First lesson, never talk like this when you need advice.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, sorry, I'm just saying. And then the very next thing, Jesus, you can give them, but you can't take them? I'll see you then. Give what, you motherfucker? What am I giving? I didn't give anything. I can give what? You think I can't bust balls? I don't even know you. You're asking me advice. So I was going up to Saratoga. That was on Tuesday, and the club owner had asked me, can I come in an hour early to talk? He has a writers group that meets there for free. It's just they do a writers, like 30 or 40 people get together. They do writing assignments, and then they have an open mic for like 3 hours.
Okay.
Like you know what I mean? So it's like 50 kids, 50 comics come in, and they get like these little writing things, and they all practice writing stuff.
Okay.
So when you come in, the comics have been coming in a little early and talking to the group, answering questions.
All right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Now, I'm very uncomfortable with that type of, like, position. I don't like to seem like, I don't ever want anybody to think that I think I'm an authority.
Right.
Yeah, like, so I'm uncomfortable with it. As James says, I'm modest to a fault. Like, it's a little too, like, just you have experience. You could talk. But I'm always like, nah, I don't want anybody to think that I think I'm somebody.
Yep.
But, so I got there, and then I was like, listen, motherfucker. No, I was like, he was like, they wrote for about a half hour, and then he was like, hey, we got Mike Gaffney here, and he'll answer any questions for you. And he asked me some questions first to get me going, like how my writing process, and I told him how I do it, that my writing process is I have an idea, I go on stage, and I just say the idea. It doesn't make it to a writing process.
Right.
Months. I work it, talk it out, figure it out, and then I'll put it on paper eventually. That's just how I am.
Right. Me too.
So we did that, and then people asked me questions, and I wound up talking for an hour. It felt like I was in a 12-step meeting, speaking about my experience, strength, and hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not a Mr. Know-It-All, more of this is my life and how I go about the process. You know, people were asking me a ton of questions, and one kid asked me a question, and I'm honest. I'm being honest with everybody, and like this one kid said, when do you think that someone should know to just give up? And I was like, well, I said, I don't. No one should be able to tell you that you should give it up.
Right.
But if you're being 1,000% honest with yourself and self-aware at all times, and on stage you're doing your best you can possibly do, and you've given it 100% you,
right?
You should be able to eventually look in the mirror and say, nah, this isn't going anywhere, man. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And that doesn't mean it has to happen. You can do shitty forever and be looking in the mirror like, I'm doing shitty, but I enjoy doing it. Who knows? But I believe if you're being 100% aware of yourself and honest, you should come to a point in your gut where you don't want to do it anymore. And that's when you move on. Should be no outside gauges should make you say, well, I didn't reach this and I didn't make that and this one doesn't like me and I'm not booked in this club. I quit. That shouldn't do it.
Right.
It should be all internal, like clocks will let you know. I think.
Yeah, you just quit because you just don't enjoy it.
So he said, I'm like, so like if you're bombing all the time and you've tried every gear and you've tried everything to yourself and you're like, I can't figure it out, maybe you'll know inside. And he's like, well, that kind of happens all the time. And I was like, oh. I don't know then, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say then.
You'll quit when you quit. That's when you'll quit. Just, there's no...
Yeah, there is no finish line. There is no there's no checklist. How long you been doing this? 5 years. Have you gotten this? No. Wrap it up. Like, there's nothing like that.
Anytime I thought about quitting was only because I wanted something that I didn't know how to get.
Correct.
And then I'm like, am I wasting my time? But then I just boiled it down to, I like doing this.
Right.
And I just want to get laughs. And it was just like, whatever.
Yes.
Because I remember thinking, early on, too, when I used to bomb all the time, I'm like, why am I doing this? And my wife kept me, she's like, but you like doing it.
Right.
You have bad nights some nights, you have good nights, and now, my bad nights are fewer.
Right.
And it's more fun now, but she used to be like, well, why? You like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why am I?
When you have like a goal, like you have things that you want, things that you desire, and things that you feel like you're not getting, that's when people like. And there's some comics, I'm not going to mention names, that have been doing this for a while, that are those miserable, bitter comedians who are doing it and they're semi-successful, but they're miserable and bitter.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're always talking about this fucking business, I want out, is because they're not getting what they want.
Right.
And like me, anytime I'm considering, fuck, what am I doing here? It's because I'm not somewhere I want to be. Nothing to do with going on stage and enjoying myself. It has nothing, never has anything to do with that.
Right. So I get the option to go on stage. I do enjoy myself.
Yeah. But it's like, I gauge it against everything else. So if you can keep it so simple, you enjoying what you're doing, you're being true to yourself, are you feeling good about who you are on stage, then fuck it. Just keep going. If all of that stuff is wrong, like you don't feel good, you don't enjoy it, then you have to look in the mirror and say, I'm done.
That's one thing I'll never be is bitter. It's like, I'll never think I deserve anything. And even like when I try to like get into a new club or new booker and they're like for whatever reason can't use you now.
Right.
I don't let that. All right, listen, man, it's your room. You do what you got to do. I'm going to move on and go find the love wherever I can. And maybe when I come back, I'll be the one for you. But I try not to let that shit eat at me like it used to. Like, or I'll see other comics like, you this motherfucker, don't fucking book me. Yeah, well, it's his room. He can do what the fuck he wants.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is there comedians that get laughs that you don't particularly like? Are you booking them on your show?
Right.
Well, then there you go. That's what's so funny. Like, you'll see comedians that, like... I've noticed it with comedians that start booking their own things. Mm-hmm. Like, if you met them, like, a year or so ago, they're like, this motherfucker, you know...
Never
like,
uses me, doesn't return my emails.
He says, I need TV credits. He says, I need this. I'm fucking funny. Then they become a booker. They're like, you have TV credits? Like, whoa, what happened? Pretty quick how the fucking... how you became what you hated. Very quick. How you became what you hated.
Yeah.
You became the guy that has certain criteria he wants for his room.
Right.
He was a dick, but you're awesome now.
Right.
How quick we forget where we were a year or two ago. Right. It's so funny. You're like...
Hold on.
But it's like, yeah, man. Yeah, so... I used to... No, but I'm saying... Why I was saying that is because I used to let no's make me be like, why am I doing this?
Correct.
And it's like, well, just... I mean, shit, I used to let maybes make me think, why am I doing this? Guy's like, well, maybe, but I have a long line of guys I'm using. Oh, fuck it, then I should just go, let me just go do something else with my life.
Right.
It's like, what, a motherfucker even said maybe.
Yeah, right.
So everybody you contact needs to love you and give you like 3 weeks of work right out of the gate, or you're not successful.
Right.
But once you start thinking of it differently.
Right, no, that's it. Once you start... You got to think
all
of it like
about you.
Huh?
It's all about your personal.
Exactly. Which is hard to stay grounded, but like, I mean, like, I don't know the guy personally, but like, you're in an open mic scene, like, where how far along do you think you should be where you're already judging whether you should continue to go further?
Yeah. No, I've seen guys
You're a personal like gains on stage and your personal feelings on stage. That's what I kept saying. Just judge it on your personal experience on stage. If you are not happy anymore and you're looking and you're bombing all the time, you're not happy bombing and you just aren't happy and no one's using you and you just never were, there's a lot of factors, but you have to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and go, all right, some of that's them and some of it's me. Or if it's like, I really am not that good, you have to be honest.
Right.
You know, I have to be honest. Some rooms don't use me because I'm not what they're looking for.
Yeah,
whether
same
I'm
here.
funny or not, I don't care about that part.
Yeah.
That's not the part that matters. Because there's guys working. If it was only about the funniest motherfuckers working today, none of us would be working. Because there's a lot of really funny motherfuckers out there.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Every show would be booked with people way funnier than us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not about just being funny. There's a lot of factors that factor
into it. There's a lot of yeah. Recently, I was in contact with a booker who said, I got to put guys with TV credits on first, but he put me on the list to send avails. And I was like, I totally get it. And when you have one of your TV guys back out, I'll take that slot. If you there's a pecking order, and I get it.
Yeah.
There's a pecking order.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what are you gonna do? You got to go where the love is. But like,
Right.
but back to like an open micer thinking he's. I remember guys I started off with that were great guys and would kind of get laughs and literally say like, "Yeah, I'm just giving this up. I just can't get laughs."
Right.
Like they just weren't. They just knew.
Yeah.
And they just quit.
Right.
I did see some guys that were very funny. They gave it up because they weren't making a lot of money right away.
Right.
And you're like, really? But you actually have, like, you're good.
Yeah.
But you're letting making a living keep you from doing this?
Right.
Like, you could make a living, but dude, we're all like a year or two in, like.
Right.
Like the unrealistic expectation of comedy.
That's another thing. That's it. Unrealistic expectations.
It's like,
These guys
it takes
think they're gonna make
years.
it. Yeah, it's just if you're not willing to grind it out. And I always say this. I said this to the class. I'm like, if you're not willing to think, and I told this to the owner that owns the Comedy Works. We taught like in the office. I was like, I don't mean any disrespect. He's like, please use my club for your point. He goes, that's fine. I'm like, but if I don't accept the fact that this may be as good as it gets for me,
Yeah.
a headline in the Comedy Works on a weekend may be
Right.
all I'm ever going to get. If
Right.
I'm not okay with that outcome, I need to get out now because that may be all it is for me.
Exactly.
You know? And the guys who are like, I'm doing that, but I better get higher. They're the ones who are doing the Comedy Works or doing the wisecrackers, and they're miserable that they're there. And I get it. Yeah, it's a grind of a life if you're just headlining wisecrackers. It's a grind because the money's not great.
Right.
But if you're not accepting that before going in, if your only level of success is making a ton of money on and headlining the improvs all weekend long, every weekend, then there's a very few people who are doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that gave it up that were funny, like they wanted to be family men. And you're like,
Yeah.
that ain't going to be like, from that movie Comedian when he goes, oh, you want to be married, have a house, and have a family? I thought you wanted to be a comedian.
Right.
Like, it's very rare that you can do both. Oh, you froze up.
You froze.
Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Apparently people like that shit.
The freezing shit?
Technical difficulties.
Oh, well, I don't know. Today seems like a lot. I mean, on my end, I don't know if it's happening for real.
Well, you'll freeze, but...
Are you hearing me? Because I'm hearing me talking.
In your head?
I just said talking, and the ing I hear.
Well, that's on your end, because I don't hear you repeating on my end.
Okay.
You're coming into my thing good and shit.
Is that the technical
That's
way
a
to put it?
technical term for you non-computer whizzes out there. It's coming into my thing good and shit. If I don't make it as a comedian, I'm going to write technical manuals.
Now let's do a little thing about, which I don't know who listens to this, but if you're a comedian and you listen to this, the little controversy that Ken Retarded Krantz started.
That's stage name?
That's what I'm calling him. Where he put up,
But he didn't really start a controversy because it got
He
deleted.
didn't start. He brought something up and then didn't follow through with it. And we're not going to really, but we're going to bring up the topic that he's talking about.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Sure.
About comedians taking advantage of young comedians.
Okay.
Listen, if you're a young new comedian, I get the fact that you're just take any stage time, and I get it. So it's not looking at you like, don't be so desperate. I totally get it.
Right.
I totally get someone's going to put you on stage for 15 minutes in front of a real crowd, like audience, not a mic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not even questioning any further than that. I get it. I've been offered. I've taken so many gigs. I didn't even ask. He was like, yes. I never even asked how much it was. Okay, yes, I'm in. Yeah. I remember Joel and it was two people and Gene. There's two guys who would use me all the time, and they said the thing about Mike is I never asked how much.
Right.
Well, I had a day job, so it didn't really matter. However, I just never did. I was like, where is it? Okay, I never said how much money. I didn't get, you know, I was just doing it. That was at a level I was.
Which just on a side note real quick, comedy's the only industry that if you ask how much, it's like an insult. Mm-hmm. Like you would never take a job working anywhere and be like, how much am I getting paid? Like, really? Really? You're not just going to come here and see what we give you? For some reason in comedy, if you'd be like, how much am I getting paid? You're like, you believe the motherfucker asked how much he's getting paid? like
I know.
Right. It's one of the only industries where it's like,
well, I think
it's like an insult.
At one time, I didn't care what it was. And then as the more I got better and better and better and worked more, I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to be insulting, like, which is fucked up because, like, you're asking how much you're getting paid. You think you're insulting someone? But I did. It was like a self-esteem, like a thing. Like, oh, I don't want to.
No, I get it because it's a very fragile industry, and it's like you want to get these gigs, so you want to tiptoe. You don't want to like.
Yeah,
it's a very weird.
It's going to a landmine field. You're like, I don't want to blow something up. So this is fucking. Sorry, what?
As if the job isn't hard enough on stage, you now have to play the. That's why comedians could be good actors because it's almost like you like got to put on a role every time you're meeting and like new bookers. You're like, all right, I got to be this way with this guy because he don't like this type of question.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how can I be like, I'm a comedian. I make people laugh. How much am I getting paid?
Right. Yeah. So, but I never did. I took gig after gig just because I wanted to get on stage.
I do that. I still do that.
I mean, the difference between me and a lot of comics, I didn't do the open mic scene.
Right.
I never did that because I didn't even know that thing was a thing. I didn't even know what the fuck you guys are doing out there. I started barking, basically is how I started. I mean, I started bringers and then right into barking. I didn't know there was a spot where I can go up in front of my peers and just say words. I'm glad I didn't know about that, to be honest with you, because that would have fucked my soul up. If I would have just been standing in front of my own people all the time, I don't know if I would have made it.
Right.
So I went to barking because I didn't know that was another option. I really didn't know that existed. So I went to barking. So I was in front of an audience. So if you were offering me a stage in front of an audience, I didn't ask you how much.
Right.
I'm going to go do the stage in front of real people. And then I would do some of these shows that were booked mics that I didn't even know that I was doing a booked mic. And then you get there and there's two drunk people, at the bar, 10 comics going up. No show sucked. You know what I'm saying? But I took anything that came my way. I get it. So even if younger comics were told the names of these shit bag bookers who were taking advantage of them, I don't know if they would say no to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So exposing shitbag bookers is just, I don't know if it would benefit a young comic.
Right.
Do you?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, because, everyone's very sensitive in this business, and it's like you want to try and get work, and I guess if a guy's taking advantage of you, I'm more worried about the people that are doing it for a while, accepting that type of treatment. If you're a new comic getting stage time, I get it. You may not be good. Yeah, if you're putting on shows with amateur comics and you're like, they don't deserve to be paid, all right, I did that for years, but I think if you're a guy doing it as long as us and you're getting fucked by this guy,
right,
and you don't call him out, I think you're part of the problem.
No, 100%. Like that's what I was saying, younger comics who have no choice. But then you look at the guys who are getting exploited by the shitbag, right? I'm not saying anything disrespectful to these two guys, or even, you know what I mean? But they're not killing it in the booking world as it is. So maybe when he offers them a job, they don't think past the job.
Right.
They don't ask the questions like, how much is that? You know what I'm saying? What am I going to get paid? How am I getting paid? You know what I mean? But you're right. Once they do it and they get fucked, those guys should be saying, this dude fucked us.
That's never happened to me where someone's not paid me.
Right.
In my career, where I've performed and they said, sorry, we're not paying you. It's never happened to me.
Yeah.
But I feel I would tell people about that.
Right.
If I worked for a booker who was supposed to pay me, let's say, like $400 for a gig, and he says, I don't have the money to pay you, you bet your ass that I would post about that and warn every comic. I would. Absolutely. I would. And I believe the comedy community would back me on that.
Right. Oh, no, absolutely.
And I would back any comic that posted. I would be like, I wouldn't work for that guy.
Absolutely. And I've seen it. I've seen people post like, hey, I had a gig out in Milwaukee. The guy promised me this much money. He never paid. Bounced a check. They put that shit out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it should be exposed. It should be exposed. I mean,
I haven't worked for bookers based on reputation like that.
Huh?
I haven't worked for bookers. I haven't taken jobs.
Absolutely. I haven't taken gigs from bookers when I find out who booked them. Like, nah, I heard bad shit about that guy.
I cut you off what you were about to say.
I don't know what. I'm saying posting about, yes, that helps guys who are making a living.
Right.
Avoid being fucked out of their pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want somebody to, like, I went out to Milwaukee and I get no money. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. If this guy didn't, oh yeah, that guy beats people. Well, why didn't you tell me, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I think that level of comedians who are getting jammed up by bookers who promise money, I think they do talk. I think they do tell.
Right.
I mean, and again,
I feel like these people should be publicly shamed, though.
They should, absolutely.
They should be publicly shamed, at least on social media. And I want to hear the defense of themselves.
There's the problem. There'll be two stories. Like, just say the one dude says, hey, he promised me $300, and then he said he papered the room and didn't give me the money. The booker will be like, I told him if I don't get paying customers, I can't pay him. And then you're like, all right, well, then maybe he knew about the money going in.
Yeah, if you knew.
If
it was a straight door deal, if we get nobody.
But if you see 8 people in the room and the guy's like, yeah, it's paper. Like, I don't give a fuck about the paper. Dude, you told me if there's people, I don't know who paid. I got to go around and ask people, did you pay? Did you pay? There's got to be an honor system here, man.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
you can't have
rooms on you. You can't do a door deal and then paper the room.
Right. Yeah, you can't have a sold out venue and then decide what the number is the night of. Like, these people didn't pay. No.
That happened at a convention one time with us. So we had a door deal, and the guy was like, "Oh, well, some people got free tickets." I'm like, "Well, that's on you guys."
Right.
You're giving us half of those free tickets. Like you decide to pay for those tickets.
Yeah.
When you give free tickets, you paying for them.
Right.
So there's 100 people in the room. We did a 50-50 door deal. We're getting half of that money.
Yes.
You didn't. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Right.
If you gave away 50 tickets, that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a clear signal. We're not in control of your ticket booth. We're not in control of your ticket sales, so we have to go off of the faces we see.
Right.
And here's the fifth. You got 100 faces. We want half of that. Oh, you let 20 of them in for free? Yeah, I see 100 faces. I don't care.
Exactly. They gave the money. It's like, listen, man, you can't.
Yeah.
That's on you.
The next time, if you're trying to do a door deal with ticket sales, then we have to be in charge of the tickets. Then we have to be numbered. You know what I'm saying? We have to know what went out the door. You know what I'm saying? And you can't give any free away.
Yeah.
If we're going to go off ticket sales only.
But back to our friend. What was his name again? Our friend that posted about it? What was his new stage name?
Oh, Ken Retarded Krantz.
Ken Retarded Krantz. He did post about it, but it's not his fight because he didn't get screwed by the booker. So it was good that he took it down. Exactly. If the guys that got screwed over aren't willing to call him out, then why should anybody else?
Yeah, and it would have looked worse for Ken to do it because he wasn't involved. He would have not been able to fight the fight because he don't have the numbers, he don't have emails or texts or agreements, nothing to prove his point.
Right.
The other guys, if they have all that stuff, like, hey, here's a text, here's the money he was promised, they can fight the fight. Yeah, they can fight the fight. But if you're not, listen, if you get screwed over by someone, but you're not willing to out them, then I really don't have sympathy for you getting screwed over. Right.
I don't. Because you're not helping other people.
Which to me...
Okay, you may be telling your 5 friends, but you're really, you're allowing if you got screwed over by some guy, you're fucking with so many people's livelihoods that will never come into contact with you if you don't out this man and and try and embarrass him into paying people at least.
You know what I think? Like I think we said this. Like you're gonna get like if he uses a guy like let's just say Robert Kelly. Let's just say he used him. There's
Right.
no way Robert Kelly's not getting paid, right?
No.
Not even a little bit. So he brings in a name like that, he's going to hook him up.
Well, it's because he has a contract. He's got to have a contract with a guy like that. Guys
Right.
like our level don't have contracts unless it's at a convention.
My manager does, but you're right. Like if I was to make a deal with the guy personally, I wouldn't draw up a contract. I'd be like, oh, I'll be there Saturday. How much is it? Okay, $600. I'll see you Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And then come
Right.
Saturday, I'm like, no, $600? What happened? I didn't have enough people at the door. Ow, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the guys who
I'm saying Robert Kelly wouldn't go down there with no contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The guys who did go down are kind of guys that he can screw over because there will be no backlash unless they say something.
Exactly.
And now the things like the other things that the guy does where he is shady with a bunch of new comics, he exposes new comics, exploits new comics. Like I'm not on the fence. I'm not on the fence with exploiting new comics. But I get why a comedy club has bringer shows, why there's guest spots and free spots on shows, because the comedy clubs and venues have to keep their lights on. That's just the way it is, right? So you got to give a couple of free spots here and there, a couple of check spots. That's just the way it keeps the business working. You have to have a produced show, bringer
Right.
show. That's what keeps the doors open, the lights on. You know, so
Right.
to me, that isn't exploiting comics at a level like that.
Right.
It's when you have a show on a Saturday at a restaurant and you make comics drive out there. They don't get any food for free. They got to work, got to tell 12 minutes of jokes, and you have 30 people in the audience who all paid to get there and they're eating and drinking, and no one's getting any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you put one headliner on the show, and you let all these 6 other comics think that they have done something special because they worked with the one national headliner. You know what I mean? And you're exploiting them that way. That's horseshit.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? And like if these guys would expose what happened to them, those kind of things might stop as well.
That's my point.
And
They
people
won't,
would
though.
support- The comedy community would support that.
I believe so.
The comedy community wouldn't have supported Ken spewing it because he would have had no,
He didn't get screwed. It's
yeah,
weird.
so he had nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But we would have supported the guys who did get screwed.
Yeah.
And I get, on their end, do you want to look like, troublemakers? Do you want to look like shit talkers? Like, social media can steer the wrong way all of a sudden. You know,
Right. And that's why I don't. I mean, I say I would, but you take it a moment at a time. I remember having you tell me you've been wanting to smash somebody publicly.
Yeah.
And I'm I would be like, dude, really, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get out of this. It's
Right.
going to be. I feel it always does make you look bad.
Right.
But I think in this subject matter, it doesn't. You're like, hey, I was told I was getting paid this.
Right.
I showed up. There was people there. I did my show, and I didn't get paid. I think very hard to turn that around on you.
Right.
Very
You're
hard.
right. It is, but once you put it up on social media, that fucking shit can go anywhere it wants to.
It could.
And the risk you take of being now you're being all right, I'm not going to say just say someone puts it up and then some other comic goes, dude, you should just be grateful you're fucking working, bro. You know what I mean? And then he goes, yo, but I got money to pay. Yeah, but no one's booking. You look at your calendar. Who the fuck do you even think you are to demand? Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And then that's off topic, and then the guy's getting smashed. And then someone else makes a new topic. Look at these guys calling shit on a fucking booker, and they don't even work. Who knows how it can go?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it just looks like a pissing match.
Right.
But a simple post of this guy promised me money and he didn't come through. Any comic looking to work with this guy, I would avoid him.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to be the guy to expose. It's hard to be that guy.
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to come down.
Right. Well, maybe their way's the best way. You just kind of tell your close friends and then just move on, never work for the guy again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just keep going because they're just going to keep taking advantage of people. Some people won't listen.
Right. Like,
I mean, people go based on their own experience. Listen. There's bookers I work for that apparently have screwed other people. They never screwed me.
Right.
I mean, the people, they've always paid me, so how I can't take the other. I mean, I don't know what happened with them in the other comic.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a company I work for that apparently has screwed comedians, but I've always gotten the check.
Right.
I've always gotten the deal we agreed on.
Yeah.
So for me to, you know what I mean? I can't judge. I can only judge off my experience.
Right.
I guess you don't know the whole story. You never know.
No, you don't know. And that's the other thing. They post it up, and then there's other bookers who say there's other bookers who have been at one time in their career accused of being shady, right?
Yeah.
Then they see that you're bitching about a shady booker. And then they go, hey, you know what? These people, they fucking bitch and moan about booking. They have no idea what's happening. I bet you didn't understand you know what I mean? They get offended, and now they don't use you. Because you bitch about bookers.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I think the downside is probably, like you said just now, the best way to do it is when you come in contact with another comedian, be like, yo, I work for the dude. Dude, he's shady as fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then just don't take any work yourself from him anymore.
That's that, man. That's that. Fucking, what are you going to do? The dude will just keep doing it. I just don't think there's any conniver. Yeah. What are you going to do? There's a lot of connivers out there.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I got that word from.
Huh?
Conniving. Sounds a very old word, conniving.
It is, but it's still relevant. I don't think as many people use it anymore. Nah. But you like to go back. You like to go back and grab words from the 30s.
I do.
Yeah, huh?
Hey. Dude, last week's podcast was like the biggest weekly download we've had to date.
Really?
Yeah, man, good numbers.
You want to talk
huge
about
bump?
Real quick? Do you want to talk about the Exotica reaching out?
Oh yeah, I got an email. No, Exotica didn't reach out to me. It was a guy who's booked me for comedy before.
Okay.
He's booked you in the past, I believe, as well. But it said, They tried doing comedy at Exotica one time. It didn't work out well.
Oh no!
Obviously.
Really?
You know.
Vagina?
They said
nipples,
they said we tried. What was it? The expo has an interest in them coming back. They said they tried doing comedy there. The crowd wasn't into it. Not for lack of humor, but more so because of lack of boobs on stage. I'm like, yeah, exactly. People would never see porn stars. It says, one thing the expo has added since the year we attended was media coverage. They allow for broadcasts or podcasts. I know some of you do your own podcast. This is a group message you sent out, and we were thinking you might be interested in broadcasting live from the expo. You might be able to set up interviews or get some stars to join you. They have good connections. They were looking just to do it on the Saturday. They wanted to do like for 3 days, but this guy's looking to just do it on the Saturday.
It's the busiest day.
But I mean, I'm thinking, it's not even our podcast. We don't do that. I don't even know how
I
it
thought
would
the
fit.
same thing. After, like, I know porn stars, and I looked on the list to see who was coming, and it's not really updated yet. Like, if my friends were coming,
yeah,
I would have done it because I could bring them on the show. But we are not like we don't. There's no sexual undertones to anything we say.
No, it's two comedians just talking shit.
Yeah, there's no
weekly.
sex business at all here. We don't talk about fucking nothing. We don't talk about none of that.
Nah.
So, like, to go there, would it be just what? Hey, look at what? The only thing that would be funny is us two looking at titties all day and talking about it. That would be really the only thing. It wouldn't be porn niche. We're not there.
It would be so off the beaten path of what we've established.
Correct.
We are as a podcast to be like, oh, now they're talking to porn stars.
Yeah, it's silly.
I don't know. I was thinking. I told him, I'm like, I'll talk to Mike and see what he feels. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, if Mike really wanted to, I'd probably do it. But I just don't think it fits what we're trying to, like, our audience.
No. Now, if I found that one of my friends were going to be there, and they would sit in on the podcast. Maybe I could ask some questions about the porn industry because I am interested in the industry. Just some questions, you know what I mean? Like nothing like, yo.
But we could do that. We could have them call in like we had Kevin Guti call in.
Yeah.
If we want to have a podcast with a porn star.
Right.
Like we don't have to be there live at the
With the exposure, like Exotica could be, you know.
I don't think we're going to get anything out of that. These are a bunch of weird dudes walking around to get selfies with porn stars.
I know.
It's not being like, oh, dude, I'm going to listen to your podcast now. They're like, no.
Yeah.
The only thing we're going to do, if they'll see this girl on stage with us, they'll be like, who's that? I want to go Google her now.
Yeah.
Right. You guys want to hear two comedians talk about their lives weekly?
Yeah.
No, man. I'm here to get off.
We're not. It's not like, oh, guess what? We're a podcast that talks about porn all day. Like, oh,
right.
Nice.
There are podcasts that are like their subject matter is sex.
Yeah. Right.
Like that dude Dan Savage has Savage Love, or like that would fit there. It's a sexuality podcast.
Right.
Like because like we'd have to
guys we fucked. They belong there.
Exactly. Not like we literally start off, yo, what'd you do this weekend?
Yeah.
Yo, Stella Doro breakfast treats. Yo, I watched this good TV show.
Yeah.
Yo, here's some audio from my comedy show.
Yeah,
oh, and by the way, did you see the new dildo put out by whatever company?
Yeah.
Just would be like, I don't know.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, I am a little more tapped into that industry a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like the industry and I don't mind it. But it's not like something that like I'm like, we should talk about that all the time. No, it's not that. I'm not that interested.
Yeah, about the only thing that would work is if like we went there just with the media badge and like had like a handheld mic and did quick interviews and then just dropped them into our already existing podcast. But even then, I'm like, I don't really listen. I've seen enough. I know what the porn industry is like. I've seen enough documentaries.
Yeah.
It's not like you're ever going to get any in-depth interview.
No, but listen, if you put out a blast like August Ames is on your fucking podcast, she has
you may get some listeners. Yeah.
400,000 Twitter followers. You might get 50. Who knows? I'm not saying you're going to get a ton, but you might get some. You put on the people that I would talk to are very big in the game, and they're like respectful business people. They're not like just. Oh, she's hot naked all the time. Like they're business people. So like Jelena.
Well, maybe we could interview and just try and maybe we can get some listeners. But like
Jelena Jensen is like huge in the game of like the internet part of it. Like she's huge on running people's websites and she's really big in the social media part of it. So like if I knew she was going to be there, I would talk to her, get her on the show, and that would help. That would help with. She has more sophisticated fans than the regular guy beating it off to some girl getting banged in a dumpster. You know what I mean? Like she has a little more sophisticated fans.
Okay, so but I guess we can still keep it on the table.
If I see someone there that I know well that we can get on the show for 20 minutes and we're down there for a couple hours, then we're out.
All right, so we'll keep the option open. I'll contact them and say like, we're thinking about it, blah blah blah.
If I don't want to be like a part of any of your like, you're gonna do the podcast from the sex swing where the fucking midgets are on top of you all day. Like, no, we're not. We're doing our podcast like we always do. And then people, if we want someone real in charge of who comes by us, you're not just, you guys are gonna do the double dildo fisting booth. And no, we're not.
Right. Like, here's the way I would think if we were gonna like, our listeners now are hearing us that we got invited to this thing. So if they're listening, they're like, okay, they've been invited to this. So my thing would be like, all right, we're not going to be on some table talking to, like, a crowd while we interview. It's like, we'll get our media badge that we can get through these guys. Me, you go there, experience it.
Right. And
then our podcast would be about our experience there, and then we drop in a few interviews.
Correct. That's different. That's it. Yeah. It's like, Joe and Mike went to a porn expo. Let's hear what they have to say about that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun, too.
Because maybe but we get the free media badge where we'll have access to talk to these people.
Correct.
I'm just going to walk around like the other creeps that are doing what... I don't know. I used to have friends invite me to that. They're like, you want to go? I'm like, no.
Last year...
I didn't want to go as like a like a guy like walking around. What am I gonna like have a bag with pamphlets like I'm at a fucking regular convention? Like, what you got over here? What's over in this booth?
You
know, like
looking at a map of the floor,
like with my buddies. It's like just seems so bizarre.
Anal lube is at booth 6. Let's get over to the anal lube. They're giving samples.
Right.
But last year, my friend Jelena was there, and I was supposed to go see her.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to just go and walk around like, hey, I'm at the expo. Look at me. So she just said, meet me afterwards. And I was going to meet her at the bowling alley. Like, that was more, like, I could do the bowling alley.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the expo. It's just not, I don't want to hang out with all those people.
Right.
But
so yeah,
I
maybe
think
we'll do that.
You going as 2 attendees, but with badges, and experiencing the expo and commenting on it.
Right.
That's what's funny. Like me and you walking around to the anal lube booth is funny.
Yeah.
I was talking about like, look at this anal lube. Oh, it comes in spicy pepper. Nice.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, we could like we'll discuss it.
About it.
We'll figure it out. We're an hour and a half in. We got to let these people loose.
Yeah, let's let them go because I got to go to the bathroom. You
got to go to the bathroom. So yeah, we good numbers on the podcast. That's so awesome. Thanks, people. The new listeners. It was great to see the numbers shoot up. I hope you're enjoying what you're. Somebody told me they feel like we're hitting our groove. Like we have like a nice.
Oh, nice.
Like what we do. So that was a good comment.
That's good.
So that's that. You have anything you're promoting this week?
I'm in. It's not Chicago. It's about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. It's on Lake Michigan, on the shores of Lake Michigan, at a place called Four Winds Casino. This Thursday, I'll be headlining at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Is that the one you canceled to go see your son graduate?
Yeah, my son's graduation, then I reschedule now. September 1st,
man.
Thursday.
Awesome. That's good.
And then Saturday, I'll be at Greenwich. I think it's a 9:45 show.
Okay. Well, Thursday, I'll be at Tap House 15 on Route 15 in like Jefferson, New Jersey.
Okay.
It's their first show there. They're going to hopefully do a monthly show. This is the first one. So they're paying their comics, just to put it out there after our subject.
Oh, nice. Money?
But it's a free show for the
audience.
For the
just
audience.
Just to try to build a little crowd.
Yeah, so it's professional paid comedians, but they're trying to just build a following, and it's like, so they're having, if you're into beer, they're wrapping it around some craft beer thing.
Nice.
So for 2 hours before, apparently these people are going to be drinking, so they should be nice and sauced by the time I get up there. Yeah. So you may experience something out of the ordinary. So we may have audio for you next week if you don't come. I was like, wow. So I saw the flyer. I'm like, so 2 hours of drinking before the show. Okay. And there's there's a host. There's a host and I think 3 or 4 comics doing 15 minutes each before I go on. So.
And how much time you got to do?
Half hour. I have to do a half hour. I can go as long as I want.
2:30 and get out.
If
you got 4 15s in front of you.
I know.
Yeah.
After 2 hours of drinking, the motherfucker ain't going to start on time.
4 15s. The thing that sucks about 4 15s is 15 minutes is a long time because in 15 minutes you get enough time to really get the guy.
Right.
It's not like 8-minute spots where you're like, oh, quick, going. 15 minutes, you're like, oh, I like this guy's personality. Oh, I like this guy's personality. Oh, I like this guy's personality. You're like on a venture, and then it's like, oh my God, another guy's personality? Oh, and here's another guy's personality.
So the show's going to be on, because there's a host too. Or maybe there's 3:15. Maybe there's, I don't know. There's a lot. I'm not getting on stage for over an hour.
All right.
Which is kind of, you like to be up there
hour,
within 45 minutes typically.
Yes. But if you get on within at the hour, then you do 30 minutes, the hour and a half show.
Oh yeah, no, listen, half hour, love it. And if it's going good, I'll just keep having fun.
Right.
So Tap House 15 free show, Jefferson, New Jersey. The rest of my month kind of sucks, though I picked up some spots, like weak spots in the city the rest of the month. So anyway, Go to joefernandez.net to see all my dates. Go to MikeGaffneyLive.com to see all his dates. Thanks for subscribing. Please comment on iTunes. And you've been listening to All in Our Heads.
Word.